I'm going to make this review into a series of 5 videos. Why? Because it's covering a 3-hour long movie. This first video is going to focus onto the road from its announcement back in 2013 to when it eventually came out in 2016. Twice! Parts 2, 3, and 4 will summarize the film's plot summary hour by hour, with added commentary in explaining how I understood the plot, acknowledge what plot holes are actual plot holes, and flaws that could have been done better. The final part 5 is going to be a recap focusing on the pros, cons, and missed opportunities. That is the setup, and this first one might be the shortest video of the bunch. Now, let's start this thing from the very beginning without any unnecessary bullshit. This movie was first announced to happen in San Diego Comic-Con in July 2013 by Zack Snyder, with actor Harry Lennox reading this passage from Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns.
I want you to remember, Clark, in all the years to come, in all your most private moments, I want you to remember my hand at your throat. I want you to remember the one man who beat you.
Something close to a month later in August, the news broke out about Ben Affleck, aged 40 at the time, had been cast to the role of Bruce Wayne and Batman. In November of the same year, Zack Snyder announced that while the film would take inspiration from Frank Miller's comic book, it would not be a direct adaptation or fully based on it. Which is understandable, as Henry Cavill's Superman introduced in Man of Steel was a completely different person from the irredeemable Yes Man from The Dark Knight Returns. In December of 2013, due to David Goyer's other project commitments, Chris Terrio was hired to rewrite the script Goyer and Snyder had worked on. That script would get some rewrites done to it during the following year, as I recall Jeremy Irons, the actor cast to play Alfred Pennyworth, to reveal in an interview that he had read a script, which was not the script.
I've read a script, yes. I think it's not finalized yet.
It was also around this time when Jesse Eisenberg was announced to have been cast as Lex Luthor, and Gal Gadot was announced to play a role we all know by now. Both castings were met with their own controversies, and in my opinion, only one of them should have been made public, while the other stayed as a mystery to be revealed in the movie itself. The then upcoming movie was only known by the working title of Batman vs Superman until it was revealed in May 2014 that its official title was going to be Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, or BVS for short. Zack Snyder stated that the V was placed into the title instead of VS as a way to keep the film from being a straight up versus movie, which it by the way was not. Henry Cavill also stated later that he was not able to see it as a Superman sequel and more of a separate entity introducing Batman's character into the Man of Steel's universe. I hate to disagree with you, Henry, but that is where you're wrong. Because the movie takes place after the events of Man of Steel, and because its events would not have happened without Superman, it is a Superman movie that has Batman in it. Batman is only one of many characters in the movie who reacts to Superman's presence, and as Superman ends up being the one to teach Batman a lesson by the end of it, Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice is more of a Superman movie than it is Batman's. In that sense, this movie should have been named Man of Steel 2, or just Man of Steel with a subtitle referencing to Batman's supporting role in it. A year after the film was announced in San Diego Comic-Con, Zack Snyder released the first teaser while accompanied with Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, and Gal Gadot. Then nothing worth mentioning happened until the Easter of next year. That's when Warner Bros. Released a sneak peek to a teaser trailer, and 2 days later they released the first official teaser trailer that left us hanging with these lines from Batman.
Tell me, do you plead? You will.
Then, in the summer of 2015, on the anniversary of the first announcement back in San Diego Comic-Con, the first official trailer was released, which made everyone happy about what we were going to get in the upcoming film. Then came Christmas, and whoever edited the next trailer earned their place in Santa's naughty list. The smallest offense came from having an out of context opening scene that killed all the goodwill the first trailer got, and the reassignment to D-Class came from putting spoilers from the film's climax into it. No one was happy about it. Even Zack Snyder was not pleased. The final trailer was released less than a month before the premiere. Even when it wasn't as bad as the previous one, its shadow still lingered over that final trailer, where it was obvious that it was trying to hide what the second trailer had already revealed. And then came the premiere, with the new revelation that because Warner Bros. Likes money, they had cut the film to be 30 minutes shorter than intended, so they could have more showings of it in theaters per day. Which led to plot holes that led to this! By now, we should have all learned that mainstream movie critics who are paid to watch movies shouldn't be trusted any more than video game journalists who are paid to play video games they review. It should be the audience who pay their own money to see a movie whose opinion weighs more, especially when they outnumber those who are given money to see a movie. This movie was the first example that opened our eyes to this fact. But the fact is that because this movie was cut short in the theatrical version, it gave a bad impression to the first naysayers who even to this day refuse to acknowledge the full 3-hour version of the film to be judged. It doesn't even have a review score for the critics and audiences. And then there's the false conception it caused by making this Man of Steel sequel come out as a Batman movie. This came from the Warner Bros. Executives like Kevin Tsujihara at the time, forcing the theatrical version, cutting away most of Henry Cavill's scenes as Superman in favor of Ben Affleck's Batman moments, along with those 3 long years we had to wait for this movie to come out and make fan theories about it while waiting. I, for example, wrote 3 fan fictions based on how I expected this movie's aftermath to set up a status quo. And then there was the mob mentality where openly hating director Zack Snyder was the cool thing to do. I do not consider myself as a Snyderbot, whose life is dedicated to obsessing over Zack Snyder and his body of work for better or worse. To me, Zack Snyder is a human being first and a film director second, meaning that watching his movies have never made me worship or wish death or worse upon him for what I have watched. When I see people doing the latter one in such inhumane extremes, my first reaction is to be disgusted at how the humanity is failing at being human, and the next is to admire how Snyder has been able to take everything bad thrown at him and not lash out like the most current year Twitter folk who need to create drama by getting triggered for whatever feels the most convenient at the moment. With that said, I am making this review on the movie based on my own views and opinions created on how I have come to see it since my first viewing of both versions, and the knowledge I have on the source material that was used in the making of it. Meaning that whenever I start talking about the people involved in making of this movie, I will focus on what they have done for the film and not how I personally view them outside of it, unless it was somehow relevant to the film's production. That is why this is supposed to be an unbiased review without any hostile or favoring intentions. I am doing this because when you have seen one video calling it the worst movie ever made, long or short, you have seen all of them. And the same thing applies to videos calling it an underappreciated masterpiece. I'm going to go through this entire movie scene by scene and comment everything that happens in it based on what I know about comic books and overall storytelling. And again, because I'm dealing with a 3-hour long movie, the review will be split into 5 parts. This video has been the first part, and the second part will cover the first hour. Like the video, comment your thoughts below, and share this video to people who might be interested in it. Subscribe to the channel, and ding the bell to be notified when the next part will be up. And may your heart be your guiding key.